Hey everyone, welcome to whatever this is about to be. I'm about to go on to the journalistic revolution, and I'm just getting started. I'm a little late to the show. They were expecting to have me 5 minutes ago, but I just got a call from Rich Paul, a jailed activist, and he needed to tell me some very important things. I got some of it on a recording, and I'm hoping to play that for the audience. So let's get connected to the journalistic revolution, shall we?
And now for the only man that can make me blush, Derek J. Freeman.
Aw, hey, how you doing tonight, guys?
I'm doing good, man.
Hey, I'm sorry to be so late with you all, but I just got a call from the Rich Paul.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about that with the setup a little bit earlier. So, the weird thing was, like, I heard this, and we hadn't talked to Rich since, like, literally he got out fresh the first time, and then I talked to him like a week or two. We had him on the show before he went back in. And what was that, like a parole violation or?
Yep, exactly. It's a violation of probation. Just another government trap. Unfortunately, probation is designed to keep people in the system. It's not, as it seems, intended to give people more freedom. It's often better for an activist like Rich to stay in jail and sit out the time rather than live under the conditions of government for many more years.
And I've thought about that as well, just going like, man, if I was ever faced with anything like that, like, no, please give me the time. Like, I want to come out. We say free. We throw these terms around like free, but like if it was, I'm gonna do some jail time and then get a probation. I'd be like, throw me in there for however long I got to come out free on the other side, And yeah. I know that's easier said than done, and you've done your time as well, but
yeah, well, part of his strategy, I mean, because he's got a lot of charges that have piled up over the last couple of years. First of all, for those who aren't familiar with Rich, you can learn his whole story at gofundme.com/GoRichPaul. And he's a freedom activist who moved to New Hampshire from Michigan as part of the Free State Project, trying to find liberty in his lifetime.
Right.
And he did sell cannabis, and he admits that. Has no problem with that, thinks it's a voluntary exchange between adults for money in exchange for flowers, essentially. And he was charged with the crime of selling these flowers, faced 81 years in jail, and he was offered a plea deal. The government often wants to get you to plea guilty so that they don't have to go through the motions of having a trial and then actually jeopardizing popular opinion about something like a marijuana issue. So instead of taking the plea deal of 0 days in jail that he was offered, he said, screw you, we're going to court, and took it to trial before a jury. They convicted him, and he was sentenced. So he's behind bars. He was let out on an appeal, and I believe posted bail. So he was on, plus he served time. He served a year in jail.
Yes.
So now he's out. He was on probation under a few certain terms. He had to go pee into a cup once in a while. He had other terms about not carrying a weapon, which is dehumanizing for a person like Rich, who was known to open carry a gun. And he was thrown back in jail last week over a violation of probation, stopped him on the street at random, and brought him to jail. Claimed that he had urinated with THC in his bodily fluids and had used a camera monopod as a self-defense weapon, which he is not allowed to have even in self-defense. So that's where he is right now. He's in jail. He's appealing the charges, but now he's faced with a violation of probation charge, which is completely new. It's going to stack on a lot more time. So he's in a world of hurt right now, and he needs all the help he can get. The way you can communicate with him is through mailtojail.com. It's a completely free service. You can use it right now and type a message to him, hit enter, it gets sent to him the next day. A person prints it out, stuffs it in an envelope, puts a stamp on it, and sends it to him in jail. And that's the most connection he can get with the outside world. I urge you, if you can't give money, send him a message at mailtojail.com.
That's excellent. I didn't even know about that service. That's pretty neat. Of course, Rich being locked back up is definitely not neat, but just things like that. Like I had no idea that we're starting to use services like that are able to you hear stories about, well, you got to make sure what you write is okay. And, I followed this. I was heavily involved in the whole Adam Kokesh deal when that was going on. And just to make sure that we were giving accurate information for people to be able to get a hold of him and make sure that you don't put this in your letters or whatever, has been, a nightmare for a lot of people. And quite frankly, if not, it's no big deal with a service like this, it seems, because you're not waiting days and days and possibly weeks for response if they can write back to you.
Well, the cool thing about New Hampshire, Trip, is that there's already a community of activists here to support each other. So when Rich lands in jail, there's people to take his things, there's people to handle his keys. I mean, what do you do with your keys? Who handles the things in your house or your pet?
Right.
All of these things are already predetermined and taken care of. And I'm running his fundraiser, which is a very important part of freeing a jailed activist. So if this is their first time hearing about Rich, learn about him at gofundme.com/GoRichPaul. And you can see the video of his arrest the first time, the second time, and you can see the video which the government is using as the allegation that he was holding a weapon. And for those who follow the journalistic revolution, I mean, it's especially insulting to have a camera, a camera device, a monopod, being called a weapon, because the camera is the new gun. Is supposed to be a metaphor. I mean, it's not a real weapon that you bash people with. So for him to be called out for using a monopod in self-defense is an insane charge.
It's grasping for straws, and we all know this. And for those of you that don't know, maybe that they will throw in whatever kind of bogus thing that they could possibly throw at you in order to tack on more and more charges. Like what the same thing as what Amanda went through, last year as well. That all of these bogus charges being added on, and are you willing to fight? Are you willing to settle? Are you and all of these questions start to come up, and it's horrible to think that. Not only is the system so unjust and unfair and completely biased, of course, towards the state. How else are they going to make their money? But that we see these things go on, and that it's perfectly okay to just sort of tack on these completely bogus charges as something that is, quote, unlawful, even in the state's eyes, of something that is unlawful. I think even the most statist of people could completely understand how wrong this is,
Man, you have no idea. Talk about bogus charges. I was at Rich Paul's hearing today in Concord, in the capital of New Hampshire, at the Supreme Court building in New Hampshire, to hear his appeal argument on behalf of his lawyer. He couldn't be there, of course, he's imprisoned. But the argument was made about his appeal, saying that the case for jury nullification wasn't clear enough. The case should be retried. Before the hearing even begins, the threats of arrest came out from the bailiffs and the sheriffs who were at the courthouse. Activist Ian Freeman, as he walks up to the courthouse, is using sidewalk chalk on the sidewalk to write the message nhjury.com. And, you know, it's a website, it's a resource that people can use to inform themselves about jury nullification. What better place than the Supreme Court steps? A perfect message for passers-by. But the bailiffs came out and said, you have to stop chalking or you're under arrest. They didn't give a statute. They clearly violated free speech.
Absolutely, and we've seen that time and time again as well.
Well, fortunately, it's on video, so if you want to see it this time, it's at freekeen.com. I posted it myself. I was right next to Ian at the time, and I couldn't believe the bogus charges, the threats coming out from the state, even before the hearing begins. I mean, if there's any doubt that the state has it in for the activists, I mean, it is plain as day to me. Sidewalk chalk? Are you serious? Who picks on someone for using sidewalk chalk? Hasn't that been protected speech for years? Oh, hey, and by the way, Tripp, I forgot to mention, I recorded the audio call with Rich Paul. Do you want to hear it?
What? Do you have that already ready? Or
yeah, I just recorded it like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, no, we'd love to have it, man. Let's, how long is the call?
It's exactly 7 minutes.
Okay,
you can stop me whenever you want.
No, that'd be perfect. We'll play it through, take a short break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk Pork Fest and get into some, some lighter news, some happier news.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm down for that. It's just been a heavy day, man. Rich Paul has a hearing. He got his sentencing. You're going to hear it fresh from him. This is the first time anyone's hearing it, so this is the scoop right here.
Sure, excellent. Yeah, let's just let it play.
All right, here we go. I got to plug in a cord.
That's okay, it happens. Technical
difficulty. Rich, how are you, man? All right, there we go. I'm excellent. Well, I'm recording, and how are you doing?
Well, I got some kind of shitty news from my defense attorney today. They finally gave us a plea offer, and it's terrible. Basically, they want me to do 1 year in jail. They would pause my probation, so right now I have 2.5 years of probation left. The way they've worded it, when I got out, I still have 2.5 years of probation left. And the only thing that they would refrain from doing is pressing charges against me for defending an artist from a violent assault by 4 men. Now, obviously, you have a right to defend others, even under the absurd system of laws that is the current United States government. So, basically, the only thing they're offering not to do is give me additional charges for exercising my rights. I'm telling them to go screw themselves on that. What that means in practice, the first thing is we're going to be filing for a continuance, so that the court date on the 26th of this month will, in all likelihood, not happen. Which means that I'm going to be held without bail probably until at least the end of July. Although I will be asking my public defender to put in, basically to ask the judge to set a number for bail, even if he thinks it's an absurd number. I mean, if they let accused murderers out on $20,000 bond, so it seems like they could let somebody who was accused of having a stick in his hand out on $20,000 bond. So anyway, I've been there, done that.
Derek,
And
can you pause?
that is
Yeah. Here, I'll pause it.
status.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
No, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, and for those of us that know Rich, have talked to him, just hearing that come out of his voice really, really hit me. Like he's like, I don't want to sit in here anymore. I've already been through all that stuff, and I just got through with that stuff, right? He's like, I can hear it in his voice. He's like, I just got done doing all this garbage, and you're telling me I got to do it again? Like, no, thank you, sir.
Seriously. And for what? They're going to keep the probation on him after the next year of jail? I mean, what's the point? They're just going to continue the merry-go-round.
Right, and so there's like no way he can just be like, hey man, I don't want to sit in here, but I'm also like, I'm not going to be under the microscope the entire time that I'm free. Whether it's a quote violation of probation or not, I think this is a very clear-cut case of what probation really means. If they want to turn it into something, they very well will. There's not even a question in my mind that if they want to quote bust you on something, they will completely do that any day of the week that they want to.
Oh, no doubt.
Like I said before, I would rather say, sadly enough, I know nobody wants to be in jail, man. It's not a great place, and time, you thought marijuana made time go by slower, spend, some time in jail, but to do that, just to say, hey man, just throw me away and make sure I come out unscathed on the other side. I don't want anything, I don't, and I know that's not always the case, but I would very much apt for that if I was in his shoes as well, sadly enough. But
well, Rich is strong.
It can continue forever. It can continue forever if they wanted it to.
It can. There's no way to cry uncle, especially for a man like Rich who was born free, born to live free. He can't live under other people's conditions. He can get along well with other people on a voluntary basis, but if you're going to slap him around and throw him in a cage, it makes him unhappy, as it would for any of us. But fortunately, he's good at sitting time. The most I've heard him complain about jail is he says it's boring. And Cheshire County House of Corrections, I've spent time there myself. I can say there was a Vice article that was recently written about it, about how it's one of the most progressive jails in the country. The warden there is a member of law enforcement against prohibition. Some of the corrections officers inside are for ending prohibition of cannabis. So I think, view Rich as a hero. He could be in a lot worse places, and I
Sure.
just hope that we can all write to him and send him money, because that's the best thing that can help out. It's simple basics. One of the only things the state responds to, you talk about there's no way to cry uncle. Well, one way that helps, the way you would approach a mafia don, bring him money. So that's one way to appease the state. He wants to raise $3,500 to bring to the state. That's the total of his charges, or his fines. And that's an important figure, by the way. I think anyone who smokes cannabis will appreciate this. The $3,500 is apparently the amount that the government purchased from Rich in secret. So they were like setting him up for a sting, and he sold them that $3,500 of weed. Yeah? Well, if they want their money back, give the weed back.
There you go. Yeah, that's an interesting take on that.
No, he's not going to take that stance. He's just going to bring them their money. But
Sure.
That's what he's raising it for, and he wants to say, look, here's the money. Can we negotiate less time? Can we get rid of this probation thing? So that's what he's hoping for right now.
Let's wrap up this phone call. We'll take a short break and then come out and end on a happier note.
Word. Oh wait, you want my phone call? I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about me. I thought you were cutting to a break. Forget that. Here we go.
We'll cut the break, but we'll cut the break like directly after, like whenever it ends.
We got
this.
And the other thing that's going on is I'm going to be asking any clergy from either the Shire Free Church or from the Church of the Sword to attempt to visit me in jail exist in our ballot. So I would really like to advance that cause so I'm going to be sitting in here for a little while longer. And let's see. So, and I guess the good news is I've read that the NHCLU is getting involved in the tracking stuff.
Yes.
That's great. I hear the Comedy Central is coming to Keene, New Hampshire to cover the Keystone cops who are running the town, so that's good.
Wow, news travels fast. You heard that in the jail?
It was in the Keene Sentinel.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right, Colbert.
Well, Rich, we're all rooting for you, and your campaign fundraiser is active at gofundme.com/GoRichPaul. And I was there at your hearing today. I know you weren't able to be there, but did somebody tape? Both Ian and I taped that in full, and I've already posted it all to freekeen.com. So if people want to watch it, yep, they can see it there.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I was disappointed not to be there.
We were all hoping to see you, but stay strong. You're going to get through this. You've got a lot of supporters on the outside. A lot of people are paying attention to what's going on in there. So thanks so much for everything you do, and a lot of people are watching.
Well, thanks a lot. And one thing that I was hoping you might be able to do for me while I'm in here would be to give Evan Knappen, and because he is a self-defense expert, or Seth Hipple, just because he's a great lawyer, a call. And, you know, if either of or both of them took an interest in my case, it would probably be a wonderful thing. I think I probably would have won my first case if I hadn't gone with a public defender, so I'm hoping to be able to avoid going with a public defender this time.
I understand that. Well, I'm going to end the recording. Is there anything else you wanted to say onto the record before I hang up the camera and then talk to you privately?
Really, if you're listening and you're not yet in Keene, New Hampshire, whether you're in Manchester or somewhere outside of New Hampshire, we need reinforcements in Keene. I guess that's the only thing.
All right, thanks, Rich. All right, that's activist Rich Paul. His website is gofundme.com/GoRichPaul. Go there now.
All right.
We're going to take a short little break. We'll play some promos, come back with a song, and we'll get into some lighter-hearted stuff, some fun stuff.
Woo!
And, of course, have PorkFest coming up this next week, so we're leaving Saturday morning. We'll be there by Sunday morning sometime, and hopefully have a grand old time. So we'll get into that in the next couple minutes here. We've got Derek J. Freeman on the line, and stay tuned, everybody. It is Post Politics, JRev Radio, Raz Radio Live.
Hey guys, it's your boy Spicoli here. I remind you to listen to Gonzo Radio, Tuesday nights at 10 on RazRadioLive.com. You'll hear some smart comments.
I should have been an abortion. Would the proper vernacular be bullshitted or bullshit?
This is a house of learned doctors.
You'll hear some stupid shit.
I'm going with the vernacular of bullshit. Like Bullshatner.
You also got my co-host, Mike Meyer.
That is hardly a pedophile picture, buddy. You haven't seen my pedophile picture yet.
And his ever-ladylike girlfriend, Brittany.
They're fucking retarded down here.
We're grown-ups, motherfucker!
We just like to hang out, have a good time, don't get too serious.
When you oppress people, they rise up in a fiery anger!
Give us a call at 941-421-0401.
JRev Radio is a station that prides itself on its diverse hosts. We have great shows like Post Politics with Trip Hugh, Godless Liberty, We Are Not Cattle, Songs of Freedom, The Experiment, and the show that started it all, the journalistic revolution. Head on over to jrevradio.com and check out the schedule for your favorite shows. And remember, turn on, tune in, rebel.
Yeah. As a shorty playing in the front yard of the crib, fell down and I bumped my head. Somebody helped me up and asked me if I bumped my head. I said, yeah. So then they said, oh, so that means we're gonna switch it on them. I said, yeah, flip mode. Flip mode is the greatest. You know, and as a shorty, I was always told that if I ain't gonna be part of it, I gotta be the greatest myself. Come on, yeah, come on. Yeah, nigga, what a surprise. For you something make a nigga close over your eyes. All my niggas getting money capitalized. God, little small guy, we on the rise. Everything a nigga touch platinumized. Full of your grip, you know we coming all our supplies. Got a big gun and I'ma show you the size. You fuck with any of my flip mode family ties. Me and my niggas be coming through, stroking you out. Killing off any and everything you talking about. See you in the club, now we walking you out. Should've thought twice before you went and open your mouth. Yo, anyway, we stay keeping it moving. Fucking with the wrong nigga, hope you know what you're doing. Now blame me, all the same niggas is lame. It's not a game, make a man still click your brain. Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Yo, Slip, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you could give me some more. Put the cars in the big crib. Give me some more. Everybody spread love. Give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say it. Give me some more. Blast with a brass, give me my cash, look at my ass, running with my money, son, go out with a blast. Do what you want, the niggas cutting the corner, you fucking up the order, go ahead, the reporter. Yo, she telling news on how you switch money down, nigga, chill with a stench. So now I pass you, I don't got nothing to ask you. Make a little room for me, you know my niggas to pass through. Cartier, see me 48, her weight shit, but with all my niggas from around the way shit. When I come through, your niggas know I do my thing, bring more shit to generate money. Cha-ching, arrest you, lyrically, flow will caress you, bless you, then the nigga come to your rescue. Why you assuming niggas blossom and bloom? I'm coming soon, hit you with a boom, give me some room. Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Hey, Split, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you can give me some more. Cars in the big crib. Give me some more. Everybody spread love. Give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say it. Give me some more. Yo, live nigga shit, know what I mean? And represent when we getting money and reign supreme. Hope y'all niggas know we coming through full steam. Can't see me, better turn on your high beam. All my niggas while I'm ringing the siren. Flip mode. We over niggas from my team. Never should you ever try to bump on my cream. My OG, when my shit get all in your bloodstream. Every time we be ripping and be blowing it down, blowing you off, fucking with the hottest niggas around. Fucking for me and my people, running your town, holding it down, thinking the wild nigga, give me my crown. Hey, all my people need to come and sit down. That nigga be hitting so much to make you fall on the ground. Sure to make you shot, that's what I be all about. Turning you out, making all of you niggas fall out. Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Hey, Split, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you can give me some more. With the cars in the big crib. Give me some more. Everybody spread love. Give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say it. Give me some more.
All right, we are back with Derek J. Freeman of Peace News Now. What's going on tonight, Derek?
Oh my gosh, so much. I've been doing a lot of blogging. You know, I have a new blog. It's derekj.me. It's got like all my old website stuff, like my jail blog, what I wrote as a diary when I was in jail, plus all the way up to today. I blogged a couple of blog posts today about the arrest that almost happened outside of the New Hampshire Supreme Court. So it's pretty active, derekj.me.
Awesome. Now, let's switch gears, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be my first Pork Fest, and probably the longest I've ever traveled in one day.
Are you serious? First Pork Fest? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Matt went last year for the rest of us, and me and Robert both have never been up to a Pork Fest. So, you know, it's we're down here. You know, it's hard for everybody across the country to get there if you're not in the mid-northeast there. So, I mean, I think even Chicago is probably a shorter trip than what we have to make. So, you know, there's people that come from all around the country as well. You know, I think that's
there's people that come from other countries.
Yeah, for sure. So, we're really looking forward to it, and of course, we'll be making the documentary while we're there. We'll have a J-Rev tent set up there as well, but you know, let's get into the haps, man, because I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm in the mode. Before you came on tonight, I had this whole spiel that I gave out about, you know, however, whenever things kind of get heavy and whenever you kind of just feel like you need a break, I've always found it very beneficial, very therapeutic to sort of get out of town, get out of your element, and, you know, try something new.
Oh, man, you're absolutely right. And PorkFest is the cure. It's the best place. It's for refreshing yourself. especially as an activist, there's a lot of burnout that activists experience because there are so few of us and there's so much work to be done that I think we all experience a little burnout now and again, and it's good to do things that rejuvenate our activist juices. So PorcFest is one of those things that gets my spirit up. I'm around people who also value liberty and are doing something to achieve it in their lifetime. That's the most exciting thing. That's the kind of people I want to be around. And that's why people come from all over the world to be there. It's not such an international event, though. It's mostly people from the U.S., and it's one of the flagship projects of the Free State Project, which is an idea that if you get 20,000 liberty-loving people to move all to the same place, then maybe we have a shot at achieving liberty in our lifetime. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, and you know, this is just you know, my own mind working on a lot of this, but you know, I hear from people, hey man, there's no utopia, and there's, you know, it's not going to be as easy as you think, and you know, I never claimed it to be. However, you know, when I spout my my want and need for the society and the future that I hope to one day have, or at least you know, my kids or something in my lifetime hope to have. You know, I keep coming back to this, and I've never been there before, but I'm like, you know what? If I can have that utopia for a week out of each year, it seems like it's going to be a very, very interesting thing to partake in, you know, when it comes to that, because, you know, I hear a lot of people going like, it's going to be messy, you know, nothing happens overnight, but, you know, if I could take the vacation to go up there and do that and have my utopia and get a little taste of what that is, you know, for a week, so be it, man, and I really hope it's really good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. PorcFest is the most looked forward to week of mine out of the entire year. There's no question.
Well,
there's so much going on. Well, there's so much going on. There's something for everyone, and I've never been a part of something quite like that, where there's, you know, people with kids and families, there's stuff for them to do. There was this cool zombies game that was happening last year where, like, you choose names out of a hat, you don't know who has who, then you go and attack them with a sock, and you, like, kill the zombies. And that was, like, a cool thing for young kids to be able to do. And, like, the adults have no idea, like, why are these kids running around hitting each other with socks or whatever.
Right.
And then there's things for adults. There's an UNCE party that I'm really looking forward to. It was a blast last year. It just completely blew my mind. The Big Gay Dance Party is going to be happening at night this year, which I've been asking for, and I'm so glad that it happened this time. Because, you know, Big Gay Dance Party is always good, but dance party happens at night.
And I want to ask, are those of us, because I've been hyping this up to my girlfriend. I told her, I said she, you know, she wonders, and she doesn't know all of our world and everything. But I said to her, I said, what I'm really looking forward to is the Big Gay Dance Party.
Yeah. It's a big draw.
Derek's really hyped it up, and he's really made me a believer. Now, are we welcome?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Big Gay Dance Party, one of the greatest things about it, one of the things I think is the funniest, is that it's mostly straight people. It's not like it's not a sequestered area for just the gays.
Right, and I told her that too, and you know, just to have a little bit of fun here for a minute. And I said you know, because I'm like a huge like '80s guy, like, and not a lot of people, and this is not something that I talk about often, but man, like, I love, like, you know, like Prince and Madonna and Ready for the World.
I hope they play
like,
that.
Like all of that kind of stuff. Like I'm so, like, we had this thing here in Orlando when I first moved here, and it was Wednesday night 80s night, and they even played like Fraggle Rock and My Little Pony theme songs. Like they had a big you know, like probably like a 7-foot long screen that they played like all the videos on when they did that. And I would get up and dance my ass off to that stuff. And I loved it, and I miss it. And I don't know, like I'm like Billy Idol, like I'm dancing with myself and it's completely all right, you know. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Are you going to be broadcasting from PorkFest?
If we can get an internet connection. I'm bringing my equipment, but you know, I have no idea what to expect, and I don't know what we can do, and you know, whatever connections. Actually, it's going to be part. I'll go ahead and spoil a bit that we already kind of summed up for the documentary, and it's basically going to be me dragging my microphone around looking for somebody to plug into, because I was like, dude, I'll broadcast. I did it. I've done it before for another fest that we've done. Our friends over at Raz Radio. I did it for Raz Fest. I hosted a great deal of that for the better part of a day. And, you know, I just love being on air and getting into the mix with people and getting into conversation and stuff. So whoever will have me on, if they've got
that'll happen.
You know, I'll be dragging my microphone around. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to that if that's at all possible.
You know, Keene has earned the reputation of Liberty Media capital of the world, and it earned that reputation for a reason. And when you're in PorkFest, I think you won't have a hard time finding a microphone to plug into. There's plenty of people who will want to have you on, become a random guest. One I broadcasted last year from PorkFest for my show, which is Peace News Now. People can listen to that episode over at... Oh, no, they can't, actually, because it's a lost episode. One of the things that happens at PorkFest is that sometimes people use mind-altering substances, and I am one of those people.
Listen, you add to the mystique here, okay? Just listen to Derek adding, it's like, no, you can't.
Yep, it's true.
Only
the people who watched it happen live can enjoy it, because it's gone forever. And if you come to PorkFest, you may experience another episode like that. Who knows? I hope to record it, but there's no guarantee.
By the way, you can come by the J-Rev tent. Just hit me up. I'll talk to you. But
oh, yeah, come. Why don't you come on Peace News Now? I'm going to be broadcasting. You can plug into my microphone.
Anybody that'll have me on, I'm like, so, like, I was a little bit heartbroken when I was told, like, how hard it was to get cell phone signal and everything else like that up there.
You know what you got to get? I have one with me, a two-way. We use these in Keene. It's a two-way radio. If you have one at home, you've probably already got a walkie-talkie or something, kid stuff. You can get it at Walmart. I've got one's a little more powerful, but you can get any range of radio, and that's perfect for communicating with people at PorkFest, because there might not be cell reception, but you bet you can use a two-way.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, that's I'm going into the that I guess that's part of the mystique and part of the intrigue as well, is that I'm sort of heading into this with of course a little bit of an idea, but at the same time I'm still going in pretty blind as well. So I'm really looking forward to everything, and of course, like I was like, dude, I will broadcast 12 hours a day at least, like by myself. It shouldn't be hard to do.
Well, did you know that LRN does that? LRN is going to be broadcasting there.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Yeah, so, people can stop in anytime. I'm going to be broadcasting a show there. But they go from, like, at least 5 to midnight, and then there's even going to be a late night show. I don't know if you've heard about it, called Michael Dean, or it's Freedom Fiends. It's Freedom Fiends show. And they are going to be broadcasting late nights at PorkFest, so you bet people are going to be super drunk and stumbling around. I just can't wait to see what that ends up sounding like.
Absolutely, and I am, I'm the kind of guy that, it's after dark now, but if I'm up there, I guarantee I won't be worth the damn after.
Yeah, exactly.
But, No, they got the other question that I wanted to is because I used to play in bands in high school and college and stuff, and I just can't find a good group of guys to play with, and
all right.
Everybody is grown and everything. So the way that I've gotten my kicks out of this the past couple of years has been karaoke.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I will blow everybody. I'm telling you this right now, okay? And mark my words, and I don't care how drunk I am. I will blow. Because I watched some of the videos from last year or the year before.
Oh, you watch me. I did it right now. Just Google Derek J. Karaoke, and you can see me at last year's PorkFest, belting it out.
Okay, I don't think I saw yours, but I did see a couple other people's that were posted. I'll blow people out of the water. Like, I don't have to look at the screen. Like,
Ooh,
you know,
it's going down. Who do you choose? Who do you sing? Metal? What do you do? Metallica?
like I like 80s metal.
Oh yeah, you like 80s.
Like Poison, and then I do like Rocket Man, Elton John.
Are you kidding? You're a Renaissance man.
Yeah, I really am. When it comes to karaoke, I'm pretty Renaissance. Like, I can pick at least probably 2 or 3 songs from each genre in each point of time that I could do pretty well. So,
well, you're gonna have a good time. The karaoke is a serious business. It's hosted by Bob Murphy, who I don't know if folks listening know. He's an economist who makes YouTube videos. Funny guy, and he hosts karaoke in a very serious way. So, and I think it's judged. There are points, and the points don't matter.
Oh, yeah, right. But I'm seriously looking forward to that. Like, I don't, like I said earlier, I don't. It's kind of like me, I kind of like to spend my own time with myself and really reassess myself, reset myself as well, and kind of come back from the experience with sort of a new outlook, if you will.
Well, I hear that. I call it hitting the reset button in my brain.
Yeah, that's what we call it as well.
Yep. Oh, I guess we have the same thing then.
Yeah, the same terminology, yeah. Rarely does that happen, and we didn't even know that, really. I mean, we didn't know that about each other, but same terminology. Sometimes it just works out that way.
Yeah, I have a blog post called "Hitting the Reset Button" at derekj.me, in which I talk about how sometimes I think you need to completely wipe your brain and start over from the beginning. And that gives me clarity. PorkFest is one of those times because there's people from all over. There's influences, projects. Like last year, I met this girl at the dance party, at the big gay dance party. We were dancing, having a good time. Then I'm like, well, what's your name and all? And she's Paige Peterson or Paige Freeman, I guess she is now. She's working doing MaidSafe stuff. Like, have you heard of MaidSafe? They're like a Bitcoin 2.0. They're like amazing. There's like one of these startups. It's going to be a second internet. So all these people that are out in the world building freedom projects convene for 1 week and share each other's ideas. Last year there was a guy with a 3D printer who had a 3D printed gun. There's lasers that are broadcasting messages. You can advertise the journalistic revolution and have it broadcast in a laser, like right up on the big pavilion. Like, it's so much. It's where dreams come true. Libertarian dreams come true there.
And I guess that's where, I'm not saying, of course, I'm going to capitalize on as much as we possibly can, of course. But, I guess the naivete of a lot of this is that, I just don't quite know. People could tell you all day long, but there's a certain part of me that kind of wants to leave it open to interpretation, to be like, oh, okay, now I get it. But, there's a good percentage of it that I really don't know what to expect. No matter how many people tell me about it, there's a certain amount of it that it's like I don't know what to expect when I get up to
like a good trip, just let it happen.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Derek, anything you want to say in closing? And we will see you Sunday, brother.
Yeah, I'll see you Sunday. I want to pimp my websites. I do a podcast. It's twice a week, live, and I broadcast video. There's a chat room. It's all free. PeaceNewsNow.com is the website, PeaceNewsNow.com, and my blog is derekj.me. Hey, thanks a lot, Trip.
Hey, we will see you, and I look forward to meeting you in person finally and giving you a big old hug. And lay off the... by the way, I wanted to bust your chops about the granny issues the past couple weeks, all right?
What granny issues?
Your granny issues, man. We had the Mary Poppins on the way to the store the other day.
Oh, God, my purse. I have my purse.
Yes, the Mary Poppins with the umbrella in full gear. And then I guess it was your own dig at yourself when you were filming the cop about the sidewalk chalk that we talked about earlier. And it was just funny. Like, I didn't notice it until you pointed it out about yourself. But it was beyond hilarious. And regardless, man, we'll see you up there in the next couple of days, and it's gonna be great. And I really can't wait.
All right, be good out there.
All right, anything you need, man, we're always here.
All right, peace.
All right, bye.